My name is Birko, and although we intended on doing a video today on how to tune a chernia Bandura, apparently we'll be doing a video on how to replace a Bandura string on a standard chernia Bandura. So here's how you replace a string on a standard chernia Bandura. So first things first, let's go over what tools you'll need to change a Bandura. Obviously you'll need a workspace. I like to put down a towel or something where I'm going to be working. And then there are a few essential tools. Number one, you'll need a Bandura ključ, which hopefully you already have. Some kind of tuner. This is an ancient one I use. And combination needle nose pliers and side cutters. If you look, these have needle nose pliers on them, and there's side cutters that you can use to cut the string as well. These are available at pretty much any kind of Sears or hardware store or anything like that. So those were the minimum tools you need to do the job. There's a few tools that you can use to make your life easier. These are something called flush cut side cutters. They're ground flat on this side. They make it easier to cut the ball end off the string. This is an awl, which you can use to straighten out the loop after we get to cutting off the ball end. We'll get to that in a minute. Or you can also use a small screwdriver or something like that. And of course, you will also need a Bandura replacement string of the correct side. And if you go to the website shown on screen, you can find a list of Bandura string gauges. If we were just replacing a string, we'd grab the string and unwind it as we're untuning it to remove the string. But since there's nothing really to grab onto, I'm just going to do my best to get this out however I can. And basically grab there with the side cuts, pull it out. Once the string is out, it's essential that you unwind the tuning peg. It's usually about 3 turns-ish until you can see the threads down here on the tuning peg. I'm going to do just a little bit more on there. And the reason you have to do this, if you don't, the peg will be really sunk deeply in compared to the rest of the pegs around it. If you're using regular guitar strings to replace the Bandura string, you're going to have to remove this ball end. This can be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to show you twice. Once using the optional tool, the flush ground side cutters, and then again using the tool you want. Basically, what you need to do is push the ball so that it's up against the loop of the string, and then you want to apply the flush cut pliers so that they're on the same side of the string on both sides. This can be real tricky to do, and if you get it wrong, you will cut the loop in half, and you'll have to rewind it, which is something that is beyond the scope of this video. Doing it with these kind of cutters is a little more complicated. It's harder to see, but I'll show you here. So I'd move the ball all the way to the edge of the loop. Now I'm going to take the pliers and put them in here, checking to make on both sides to make sure I'm on the right side of the loop. For this next part, you're going to want to have some safety glasses. When you cut this ball off, it's going to go flying across the room. Make sure that there's nothing it's going to hit or nobody else that it's going to hit in the eye. Look the other way, squeeze, and the ball comes off. A lot of times when you cut it, this loop will be deformed from the cutting process and it won't fit over the peg that holds it. So from here we can just stick in the end of the side cutters and kind of open it up so it's a nice round loop. This is also where you can use the optional tools such as the awl or even just a regular old screwdriver to open it up. If you're changing a thinner string, be careful when you're doing this because you might break the string in the process. Now we just need to feed it through. Find the hole where the string came through, put it up through it, put it through the bridge. If you're doing a pivton, you would use your pliers to grab it from below and pull up above like thus. That way you won't be scratching your instrument. While we're here, we take this end and give it a little bend downwards like thusly so that it stays on the tuning peg. Now we simply take the loop and slip it over the hitch pin that we were using. That angle that we bent on there earlier will help it stay, but you'll want to keep a little bit of tension on the string the whole time to keep it from slipping off. While we were switching camera shots, I kept tension on the string the whole time so it doesn't fall off the ball, so it doesn't fall off the hitch pin. Straighten out your tuning peg so that the hole is lined up. Now we have to cut it to length. A good rule of thumb is to use about 3 fingers from the tuning peg that you're doing, and you can use your side cutters to cut the string again. If you're doing a plain steel string, you're ready to put it through the tuning peg. If you're doing a wound string like this, you have to first unwind it. I'm going to grab the end just a little bit and pull it to free off the windings. Once we have the windings, put your fingers about where, a little bit beyond the podstavka here, and just give it a pull. Sometimes it breaks. Once you've gotten to that point, we're going to straighten it out and then cut off the winding with the side cutters. Remember, maintain tension the whole time. We now slip the string through the tuning peg. Use our side cutters to put a little kink in it like this so that it holds. Again, holding tension on both sides. I'm going to tune up the string now. So here you can see this is how I'm keeping tension on both ends of the string. And now I'm going to push the string down with my finger like this as I bring the windings down. This keeps the winding low down. Get my fingers out of the way. And we can start tuning the string up to pitch.
So you can see I pulled my tuner out now. I got the tuner, and I'm first going to tune the string that were changed to the string below it. That's just to get it in the ballpark, make sure we're not, our ears aren't screwing up or something like that. Once I get it to the string below, I'm going to tune it up to the actual pitch. Keep an eye on the tuner, make sure you're not tuning it off into the weeds somewhere. Now, a very important thing that you have to do in tuning is to stretch the string. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing down. You'll see when I push down, the pitch goes down. I'm then going to tune it back up to pitch. I'm going to stretch it again. You basically have to repeat this process until the string is holding the pitch that you're doing even after you stretch it. It takes usually 2 or 3, sometimes 4 times before you do that. And here you can see now we're almost there. And we're good. So let's do a quick recap of the steps involved here. First, we have to gather our tools. We have to remove the broken string and make sure that we back out the kilok to the about 3 turns, as we said. Next, we need to clip off the ball end. Make sure you're careful, nothing lands up in your eye or anything like that. Next, we feed the string through. Make sure to remember to feed it through the bridge. It's easy to forget that step. Don't ask me how I know that, please. We take the loop and slip it over the hitch pin. Next, we cut the string to length. Remember the 3-finger rule. Once the string is cut to length, if it's a wound string, we have to strip the windings. Once it's on there, we take it and we tighten it down, bringing it down to take up the excess string length that we have. And once we're there, we can just tune it up to pitch. Make sure you remember to stretch it, otherwise it's going to be out of tune for a long time.
So that's the basic steps to changing a string on a basic chudni of Bandura. That technique will work on the wound strings and the plain steel strings. If you are changing some of the lower bass strings using acoustic bass guitar strings, which is what I recommend, those are often double and triple wound, and there's a couple extra steps involved in unwinding those to get a good sound out of your strings. But that's the subject of another video. So catch you later, and time to get back to Bandura tuning for me.